Well, we're also discussing, because we see Edin Dzeko score tonight, 37 years of age. Who is the most underrated player you've ever seen, and who deserves more credit than they get? We was just having a discussion in the break, and we come up with a couple of players who we thought underrated. I said John Stones is underrated, and then we started talking about centre-halves, and I said Ledley. You know, we started saying, who do we play with who you thought was underrated? And I said Ledley King. Now, for me, Ledley King was one of the most underrated footballers of his generation. He had terrible injuries. He played football. I remember training and playing with Ledley King. He was unreal. He used to warm up on a Friday, right? And then he'd do some stretches, and then he'd go straight back in for rehab, and he'd play on a Saturday and get man of the match. And then he'd recover all week and come out on a Friday and play again. Couldn't play Saturday, Tuesday, because his knee would blow up. He was unbelievable. Just think how good he would have been if he wasn't injured as bad as he was.
So was Ledley King underrated? I'm not sure he was underrated. Oh. Right? Now, hear me out.
Go on.
His injuries killed him. There was no doubt about that. And I feel for him because I retired at 29 with a knee injury, but he somehow managed to get himself through.
Oh, you had the knee injury, did you? What are you lying for? You just weren't good enough. You got binned by everyone. Tottenham binned you.
It's amazing.
And Chelsea binned you.
It's amazing, right?
Ipswich binned you.
It's amazing. You laugh.
I retired at 29, I had a bad knee. That old chestnut. When you go and meet someone new, I retired, I had a bad knee. What are you talking nonsense for? You had a bad knee. You didn't have a bad knee. You had wellies on when you played.
Had a bad two knees. But look, let's go back to Ledley King, right? So Ledley King was a monumental centre-half, right? And the problem he had, was he was around the same time as John Terry, Jamie Carragher, Rio Ferdinand, around that era, right? But what a lot of people probably won't remember is that he was that good that he could and did play in centre midfield for England. And had he not had the injuries that he had, he would have played far more games, and I think he would have been. So he was younger than John Terry from memory. I could be wrong, but I think he was younger than John Terry and Rio. I think he would have been the natural progression to go into that centre half position. Yeah. Ledley King was top draw. He was top draw. Don't let anyone tell you any different. He was, as a footballer, he was as good, or could have been, without the injuries, stepped into that Rio Ferdinand role. You know, that cultured coming out the back. Playing.
Well, he played in midfield. He started in midfield for Tottenham.
You mentioned John Stone. So Ledley King.
John Stones is brilliant.
Yeah, but Ledley King would get ahead of John Stones now in the England squad. So if Ledley was playing now, it would be Ledley King and John Stones. Harry Maguire does not get anywhere near that England team.
Not
if those two are
King.
fit. Nowhere near it. And what Stones does now, Ledley King was slightly different, a bit more defensively minded, but do not underestimate, he was a sensational young man.
Better than John Stones?
Centre-half, I would say yes. Midfield, no.
We played in midfield.
I know. They both do. But I would have said Ledley King, centre-half, mate. You weren't beating him. You weren't getting past him.
Right.
More physically. Yeah. Taller, more aggressive. But he was brilliant. He was brilliant.
Let's go to Andrew. He's a Newcastle fan. All right, Andrew?
Yeah, the one I would actually go for, I've changed my mind, actually.
Go on.
I think it's Sol Campbell. I know, Jamie, you're not going to agree with that, but everyone talks about Rio and JT, but Sol Campbell actually was one of our best defenders for 3 tournaments. So because he's not really the most liked person because of some of the stuff he said and because of his move to Arsenal, people don't like him. And also, I think the other one that doesn't get as much credit now is as well Ryan Giggs for his personal stuff. So I'd say Sol Campbell and Ryan Giggs probably.
So I played in Sol's debut. Sol's debut at Spurs, I played him, right?
Who for?
He scored Spurs.
You played alongside Sol Campbell?
No, didn't play alongside him. Right. I played the same team as. So I think he came off the bench. Right, it was against Chelsea, right?
Right.
He scored, got beat 2-1, right?
Where were you playing?
Can you believe I was playing midfield that day?
No, you was not.
Jay.
No, you was not.
Jay.
You was not playing in midfield.
Jay.
There's no way in a million years Jason Cundy's played in midfield.
Jay.
There's no way.
Jay. Look at me.
What are you doing?
Jay. played midfield.
No, you didn't.
Okay,
You just hooking balls on.
Jay,
I was
smashing it in Dennis Wise, smashing it around Andy Townsend, right? But listen, right? So I played with Sol, right? And I watched Sol develop. So
You're lying. I don't believe you.
I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth.
You're lying.
Google it. Google it.
You didn't play midfield.
I did. Anyway, listen, that's not the story. Sorry, Andrew. Sorry. Sol Campbell was not underrated. But I tell you what...
When they talk about the best defenders, they always say Rio, JT. It all gets forgotten, and I think it is to do with some of the stuff he said. He's just not liked as a person.
No, I tell you what I think it was. I tell you what I think it was. And this is not fact. I tell you what I think it was. Is because Sol was he was a better defender 1v1 than Rio and JT. He was a better defender. He was quicker, stronger. He's the quickest, strongest centre half I've ever played with, right? He was sensational, right? The thing about Sol, what Sol learnt very quickly is that on the ball, technically, he wasn't as good. So what he'd give the ball to Vieira, give it to Petit. He'd give it to players that were better than him. And that's what he mastered. He mastered what he was good at. So know your strengths, know your weaknesses. Sol Campbell was brilliant. One-on-one defender. You weren't going to beat him. He was so brilliant in the air, and he developed as a player, and he developed into a wonderful centre half. But I'm not sure he was underrated. You can't say he was underrated.
Andrew, I really appreciate you phoning in. I've got the actual lineups here of Jason Cundy's match that Sol Campbell made his debut in. You did start.
I did start, yeah.
In a back five for Tottenham.
I played midfield.
No. Erik Torsved in goal. Good keeper, by the way.
Yeah.
Gary Mabbutt, Neil Ruddock, Justin Edinburgh, Dean Austin, and Jason Cundy in a back five.
It wasn't.
Where would you play in?
No. I promise you, I played midfield that day.
Where? Holding midfield?
No. It was David Howes. Was it David Howes?
Vinny Samways. Kevin Watson.
Yeah.
Naeem.
Yeah.
And Nick Barmby.
Yeah.
It's a good team. Teddy Sheringham up top.
I only played with 10 that day, though.
I remember, I've got the commentary here. It says there was a player in midfield who kept trying to get on the ball.
A fan was on the pitch.
And it looked like a steward was playing. His name looked like Jason Cundy.
Do you know what, right? First off, we played really well that day. Played really well.
You played against Chelsea.
I know.
It was against Chelsea.
That was Sol's debut.
Sol's debut was against Chelsea.
He came off the bench and scored.
Andy Townsend, Dennis Wise, Graham Stewart. You had David Lee, Frank Sinclair, your mate, Graham Lasso left back.
I go out with all those guys still.
Oh, you still go out with all them?
Yeah.
You played against them.
Up at Chelsea.
Disgrace. That's a good Tottenham team, by the way. How are you in that team?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
How are you in that team?
An enforcer.
An enforcer.
Eddie Newton scored 2 goals that day.
Did you win?
We got beat 2-1.
You got beat 2-1.
Up at Chelsea. Up at Chelsea.
You said you were smashing Danny Wise. He got an assist.
The first half was 0-0 for half time. I seem to remember.
You got dragged.
No, didn't get dragged.
You got dragged.
Yeah, next game we got dragged.
Let's go to Paul. He's a Spurs fan. All right, Paul.
All right, Paul.
Are you okay, mate? You all right?
Good, Paul. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine.
Go on. What do you want to say?
I just want to mention to me a Chelsea player to me was really underrated. Is Ida Johnson from Iceland. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Very skillful, very technical.
Was he underrated, Paul? Was he underrated? He played for Barcelona.
I think he was. But what is right, when you mention top Chelsea players, you always mention John Terry, Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba. But I mean, in his day, Ida Johnson, right, he was a fantastic player. I
played against Ida.
Did you?
When he was at Bolton.
I think I played against him.
So I played against Ida, right? He was up top, right? Technically, you knew you were up against something far superior than you faced.
Well, I mean, it's not.
Oh no, but you know. You think you're like Kevin. I played against Kevin Phillips. His movement up top. Yeah. You just know that he can make any run, and he's going to suck you in somewhere, or drag you at another position. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing. I can just imagine you playing against Kevin Phillips and Ida Johnson, getting the absolute run around.
Yeah, drag me in all sorts. Yeah. Drag me in every. Yeah. But that's what good players do, right? That's what they do. They're the ones you remember. I don't remember the other ones that
Did you see Rudiger last night? It's just going off a little bit off topic here, Paul, right? Rudiger against Haaland. There's been a video going around on Twitter of him all over Haaland. Yeah. Right, all over him. He's got his head in his shoulder, in his armpit. You know, he's grabbing him. You know, and like Haaland's like, he's all over him. Did you used to do that?
Yeah, I wasn't. Not off the ball. I used to do it on the. But you know what? Paul Hawkesby, I was listening to H&J earlier. Paul Hawkesby come out with the best description of that. He said he's like a security guard patting him down, getting into a nightclub. That's what it was like, wasn't it? It's like, what you got in your pockets? Put your arms out. I feel the arms. But Rudiger is one of those. He will trouble you in a different way. He pokes you, pinches you. I bet he pinches. He'll poke and pinch.
Did you used to do that?
Not really. No, I couldn't be bothered. Nah.
Paul, did you ever used to do that? Did you play football?
You ever poke, Paul?
Me? Nah. I was too nice.
No.
Too nice. Can you be too nice? Did you play football, Paul? Where'd you play?
I used to play, when I first started as young, I used to play on the left wing. And then in my old years, I went down into defence and right back.
If you could describe yourself as a modern-day player, who'd it be?
Yeah. Good question.
When I was younger, Mark Waters.
What?
Who's Mark Waters?
Mark Waters is retired about 25 years ago.
No, but he was a winger, wasn't he?
No. Okay, so
right, someone that we would know. Someone that we would know.
I played against Mark Waters. You know who Mark Waters is?
I don't know who Mark Waters is.
Right, played for Liverpool. Right, Mark. So Paul, a modern day player now. Who would Paul be in the modern game? Are you you sat? Go on.
Modern day?
Yeah.
Good question, actually.
Is that Vinicius Junior?
No way. I weren't that good.
Mark Walters was a good. By the way, Mark Walters. You talk about underrated players. Mark Walters was a top player.
He was
top draw.
So Paul's obviously thinking he's top draw.
Right, he's top draw.
Give me a modern day Premier League.
Someone that O'Hara would know.
Someone that I know.
So
I can get a description of what Paul looks like on a football pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd probably say that I was probably a bit like Mahrez.
Mahrez.
Yeah.
So you left-footed, Paul?
No, I'm right-footed.
Mahrez is left-footed, Paul.
What do you mean, Paul?
Paul
Mahrez is left-footed.
He's left-footed.
I know he is. No, but he does play me right, doesn't he? He does play me right.
No. Okay.
Right, Paul.
We got to explain this question to Paul. Right, Paul. Right. What we need, right? So imagine. Have you got kids, Paul?
I do, yes.
All right. How old are your kids?
My son's 11 years old.
11, right?
So he knows modern day players. He knows the Premier League.
Right. Okay. So let's just imagine your son was like 15. Give me another 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
What we need is a right-footed Mahrez that plays like Paul.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Aaron Lennon of Tottenham. I'd be like him.
Aaron Lennon.
There you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
We'll take that. Aaron Lennon.
Perfect.
That's what
you know what we should do now, right? Phone up, right? Mahrez, by the way, is taller than Aaron Lennon. He's a little stocky thing, but good.
Aaron Lennon, good player.
Right,
I'll tell you what, Aaron Lennon's a great shout for underrated.
Yeah.
I played with Aaron Lennon.
Yeah, there's problems, didn't he?
Top player.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Did
he play for England? Did he play for England?
Yeah, of course he played for England. He played in the World Cup.
Right. Phone up. Who is the player, the modern day player that you are like?
Okay.
Who's your modern day player?
Oh, I mean,
no, modern day player. Who? So, okay.
Modern day.
Right now. He's struggling.
People used to say I played like Jan Mulby. I didn't know who Jan Mulby was. I knew he was fat and he played in midfield.
I know Jan. I know Jan really well.
Jan Mulby. They were like, you're like Jan Mulby.
Mate,
who's Jan Mulby?
Jan Mulby never gave the ball away, mate.
Well, that was me. I never gave the ball away, but I didn't move. I always used to say, I'll make the ball work.
Love the night out.
Make the ball run.
Jan Mulby did not.
Make the ball run. What do you mean I need to run? Make the ball run. That's what it's for. It's round.
Do you know what, right? Jan Mulby, right? He was Danish, Jan Mulby.
Yeah.
Right? I played against Jan Mulby. I know. What's happening here?
Breaking news.
Jan Mulby would stand in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Right?
Just spray it about.
He would dictate wherever his first touch, he'd move the ball. Yeah. He wouldn't get a sweat on. He'd probably walk at half time and at full time wouldn't need a shower.
Yeah.
But he'd run the game.
That's me. Jan Mulby. That was me. O'Hara, Jan Mulby. I'll think of a modern day one. If you want to come up and say, we've got Edin, he's an Arsenal fan, you want to come on and describe yourself as a modern day player.
I'm doing a radio show with Jan Mobley. Is that what you're saying?
03717 223344 and Gooty.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.